Hi, this is Chad. I'm talking about the final project, the musical artist rebrand. This is the project sheet, and this is a project that I have every semester, um, but we have less weeks than a usual semester. So what I've done is I've condensed this project. It still has 5 phases, and you'll have to keep track of them and do um, and turn them in at the right time so you're on schedule. But let me just go over those briefly. So you will pick a musical artist to rebrand. So that artist could be a rapper, it could be an actual band, it could be an orchestra, whatever you like, your uncle's mariachi, your buddy who wants to be a DJ, whatever. No, not a DJ. Don't do that one. So anyway, what you'll do is you'll brainstorm what reminds you of that. So you'll come up with a statement. I'll mention that down here, and then you'll brainstorm item parts of that statement. Then you'll create a rebrand or an identity, and then you'll create marketing material, and then you'll present it. So, and I have that outlined in this new project sheet. So phase one is the brainstorm. Um, you'll create a statement about your artist and some examples, and you can't use the Beatles because I'm using them here, but the Beatles sang about love and peace, or the Beatles were a quirky UK band from the 60s, or for example, Beatles messages are about creativity, love, and liberation. Okay, and then what you do is you underline the key terms in that statement, like I've done here, and then you'll brainstorm words that come to mind for each underlined word. Now, when you brainstorm the Beatles, or if you brainstorm about love, forget how the Beatles relate to it and forget how peace relates to it. Only brainstorm about love. So I've done that in this example. So my statement is the Beatles sang quirky songs about love. Okay, so, and I've underlined words, so there'll be Beatles, quirky, and love. So songs, everyone sings songs, so songs is silly to brainstorm, and so is the verb sang. So just go with ones that are more keywords. So here and really the more words on these brainstorms, the better. But I have like mop top haircuts, crossing the street, Yellow Submarine, Screaming Girls, Ed Sullivan Show, Four Members, the Fab Four. Under quirky images, I've included like a lot of quirky song titles, but also some quirky lyrics like, I mean, no one really sings about raccoons or strawberries or submarines or guitars crying or blackbirds singing. An octopus's garden, I mean, those are very quirky, so I've tried to list some of those out. And then, and I've kind of I didn't terribly ignore the Beatles on this one, but I kind of had to. I had to say what was quirky about the Beatles. About love, I'm just focusing on love all by itself. Forget the Beatles, forget quirky. So what reminds me of love? Well, it's hearts and Cupid and love arrows and holding hands and, those lacy hearts and heart candies with messages and blah, 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 blah. Okay, so now that we have that, and now that you have that, I'm going to go back to the project sheet, and you'll export that as a PDF and save it in Portfolio as a PDF, and then put the URL link in Blackboard. Okay, and this is really true. More words, the more ammunition you have to go to the next step, which is creating your thumbnails. So the thumbnails, you're mashing up your brainstorm lists, and you'll pull words from 2 or all 3 lists for some unique imagery, and you'll create 10 to 15 thumbnails, and those will be shown to me, and we'll talk about your favorites. So for an example, I didn't put any examples in the project sheet, but let's say we were going to do an example here. We could, well, we have strawberry fields, and we have hearts. So and I'm pulling this from one of my classes, but we could have like a strawberry that's broken in half, like a broken heart in the middle of the page, and that, that could be enough. We could have a raccoon with a mop top and, holding hands with another raccoon. Or we could have an octopus garden who's tending the garden and loves gardening. So we get the love, we get the octopus garden, and maybe there's a yellow submarine in the background, right? So you get the idea. So we're coming up with these really unique images. We could use psychedelic lettering and write out, "I am the walrus." So I hope that gives you enough of an idea on the thumbnails. The phase 3 is the identity, and you're going to take their logo and revise it. And the way you'll do that is you'll create 5 to 10 thumbnails for your logo. You can either sketch those out or find a typeface that matches your desired look and feel, and then talk to me about those, show them to me for credit. Then you'll pick typefaces. These are going to be display and body type. So what that means is the body type is type that goes with your logo that can be read easily in a paragraph. So something a little bit, a little more decorative will not work for the body type. Just think of things that you would read in a book. That's the kind of thing for body type that you're after. Now the display type is different. It should be the link between your body type and your logo. And that should be a typeface that kind of has a little more personality than your body type. But they all three should go together, the logo and your 2 typefaces. Lastly, your color palette. So come up with 3 to 5 colors. Pick colors, they do carry messages. So if the Beatles are friendly and love, so maybe yellow and red kind of makes sense. But so, pick ones that go together as a family, not just the bright red and bright yellow like Crayola marker. Find ones that are fit together as a family, and I would just refer you to color.adobe.com to find a large kind of supply of color schemes. Phase 4 is creating marketing material. So what you'll do is you'll take your thumbnails that you've created and the colors you've picked and your logo and your typeface, and you'll create a gig poster. So a little bit further, we have some details on the gig poster. It should be one of these sizes. You can go horizontal or vertical, and then you're going to print that at actual size. So let's see. Yep, you'll do a gig poster and then 2 more items. So you'll definitely do a gig poster. Should be printed at full size, and these other items, the ones with asterisks, should be printed. The 30-second music video obviously shouldn't, but should be done and presented on the last day of class. Let's see. You'll look in here under these are different specifics about each of those marketing material. So if you have further questions, you can ask, but this gives you a pretty good rundown of what I'm expecting and asking for. The 5th phase, or is called the final presentation, and this will be 3 elements that will be done on the last day. There'll be an oral presentation. You'll do that right along with a PowerPoint, and you will have printed pieces mounted on foam core, and you will present this to the class. I have some warnings in here. Don't go, but use PowerPoint or PDF. The oral presentation should be exactly between 3 minutes to 3.5 minutes. Going over, 5 or 10 seconds is okay, but half minute under or over in either direction, your grade will drop, and then more drastic, the grade will drop further. You want to include these 7 outlines, these 7 items in your presentation, your oral presentation. And these are your PowerPoint. This is how what you should see on your intro slide and your problem or assignment. Here's what you should see. So hopefully we're gonna see items that go along with each of the outlined items I've mentioned. The mounted prints, you're going to be each of you are given a 60 by 24, that's 5 feet by 2 feet, large printout. So you will create in Photoshop, a 60 by 24 file that has all of your marketing pieces on it. Those will be printed out, and you can pick those up on Friday before, I'll tell you when exactly. Yeah, so in our case, for this semester, it's going to be Friday the 6th. It may change for different semesters, but regardless, you'll pick those up. You'll cut out the images from the poster, and then you'll mount those cutout images on the foam core. So you'll bring in one piece of foam core with all your elements mounted to it. Here's the schedule that I have. This may change semester by semester, but this is fall of 19. Let's see, notice on the 20th, phases 1, 2, and 3 are due. This is very, very easy to do. I'll demo it so you can see how to do it, but that's essentially your brainstorm, your thumbnails, and your identity. Revised logo, typefaces, color palette. And I'm going to review each of those with you, with what you've done with you individually. On the 27th, the gig poster file is due, or that large 60 by 24, whatever you can get done by the 27th. That's when that file is due. And then again, the 6th you'll pick those up in class, and the 9th you will present them in class, or I mean, depends on the class we're talking, but the last day of class is when you'll present. I will give you the Google Drive username password so you can get to that, and that's the rundown of the project sheet.